Welcome back. 2019 is ending on a good note for at least crude producers. Take last week, for example, it was the best 5 days since the month of April. But rising prices also mean that the consumer will feel the pinch. So should everyone get ready to shell out more, or will Saudi Arabia and Kuwait's decision to restart production at their joint fields increase supply enough to curb the rise? Let's ask Peter McGuire, CEO of XM.com. Hi, Peter. Good morning to you from India. Let's begin this conversation with crude prices, which have started to inch high in the recent past. Going into 2020, what are the levels that you're expecting? Can we expect further rise from where the crude prices have been hovering currently?
Well, good morning. Yes, I feel as though that there will be more uptick. It's been a tremendous rally over the last matter of weeks. And there's more potential. I think the early 70s is what the number is. Many analysts are calling that, and I think it's got the capacity to hit it.
Okay. Peter, the other space which has been in focus this year is the yellow metal. Gold prices have surged about 18%. And let's not forget, this gain has come in an environment when there was risk on trades seen. Prices have tipped the $1,500 per ounce level. What are your thoughts suggesting with regard to prices going into 2020? Will this momentum continue, or there could be some profit booking?
Well, there'll be some profit taking, but also at 15.18, where it is at the moment this afternoon or today, there's, I think, more capacity. We've seen a sell-off over the US dollar in the last matter of 4 or 5 trading sessions, and there's further softness there. I feel as though that gold's going to have a stellar year. It'll build on those gains that we saw in 2019, and it's going to be a good time to be long gold.
Peter, did I read a mail from you some time back which said that even silver, which has underperformed gold thus far, might outperform? So could it be a year for precious metals at large?
Well, I think so. There's no doubting that, Niraj. I mean, look, it's been great. All the markets across the world have had a very, very strong, nice uptick as far as equities, or the majority of them. And I feel as though that there'll be some momentum. US dollar will come off, a little bit of pressure. From the upside, that US dollar index, probably 95, and so I think there's going to be more potential to push those precious metals up.
Now, Peter, you look at the crude fundamentals very closely too, aside of what the technicals and the pricing action might suggest. Do you reckon that there are, I heard you mention that there is more upside probability for crude. What are the factors that could lead to this? And fundamentally, what are the levels that you believe, because of various factors, that crude could move up to? Not necessarily timing it to the month, but just the levels that people should watch out for and the reasons thereof.
Okay, first off, I feel as though that you're talking those early $70. We're sitting at that 68, 68.40 sort of range for Brent. So we're only talking about another $3 or $4 to the upside over that first quarter. The reasons are quite simple. We've put to bed, or we've elastoplasted with a bandaid the trade deal between China and US. So in turn, I feel as though the momentum going forward is going to take crude prices higher in the short to medium term. Too hard to forecast where we are in a year's time, but the growing demand isn't going away, and they're the fundamentals, I think, that are going to push prices higher.
Peter, just one last question. While gold as well as equities have been marching ahead as per your note, but it's the US dollar which has been bleeding. So what's the outlook for US dollar? And also share the outlook on Indian rupee, which has depreciated nearly 2% so far in 2019.
Well, I feel as though the US dollar it's had a wonderful run, and we're talking about a couple of more interest rate cuts in 2020 if the Fed get their way. So in turn, I feel as though that's going to take a little bit of that luster out of gold. It'll bleed dollar, and there's probably more further downside. So as US dollar comes off, as far as the rupee's concerned, could be a little bit of volatility there, a little bit of profit taking, but I feel as though that there's some potential from a trading perspective to make good money out of the rupee cross.
Range for Indian rupee that you can share with us?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm not prepared to put my hand on hard at the moment. I think there's just too much wild fluctuations in that market at the present. Thank you very much, Niraj. The same to you.